All right. Welcome, everyone. Thrilled to have you all here. Getting you all into the theater was a little easier than I thought it would be, so thank you for following instructions. My name is Brian Imus. I'm the Executive Director with the Illinois Green Alliance, and I want to thank you all for coming here tonight. Welcome to the Illinois Green Alliance annual Limelight Celebration and Emerald Awards ceremony. Before we get started, I want to invite Barbara Hickey to the stage to say a few words of welcome, because she actually runs the building that we're in right now. So she can tell you a little bit about the building, and she's also just a rock star Illinois Green Alliance member. So welcome.
Thank you. Hi, everyone, and we are so very happy to convene with you here at Willis Tower. We are so proud of this beautiful, beautiful space and all of the improvements we've made here at Willis Tower. I'm just overwhelmed to be a part of it, and thank you so much for coming out tonight. I just want to say thanks so much. Please come back and visit us, and congratulations to all the honorees and the award winners tonight. Thank you, Brian. Have a great event.
All right, so again, I'm thrilled that we're able to bring everybody back together after not being able to do so last year. It's wonderful that we're able to get back together, to reconnect and to make new connections. Of course, to stay safe, we've actually limited attendance at Limelight this year, but we do have a live streaming opportunity. So hello to everybody at home. Tonight, I'm excited to share news of our new strategic plan, a 5-year effort to lay the foundation for a net zero building revolution in Illinois. We're also going to be celebrating the champions doing amazing things here to advance net zero and raise some money for our work. After all, this is our most important fundraiser of the year, so thank you for being here. We're a membership-driven nonprofit with a clear mission: green buildings and sustainable communities for all. Our secret superpower, it's our network of building professionals who believe that green infrastructure is key to improving the quality of life for everybody in Illinois. I hope after tonight's program, you'll be inspired to get more involved with us. That's because we've got a lot of work ahead. To meaningfully combat climate change, we need to make net zero buildings feasible, affordable, and so commonplace that every building in Illinois is net zero by 2050. Mainstreaming the technology and building methods, whether for a new construction or for existing buildings for renovation, it's not going to be easy, but no one is better positioned to do that than building professionals. To lay the foundation now so we can make this vision a reality, the work over the next couple of years to lay that foundation, we need to double down on professional education focused on the best practices associated with net zero. We need to demonstrate that these strategies and the technology for net zero are viable in any building type and in any neighborhood. And we need to help develop policy that removes barriers and incentivizes adoption so we can scale net zero. I'm immensely thankful for your support in attending the event tonight, and to the sponsors and organizational members who make our work possible. What you see up on the screen there, those are our current annual sustaining sponsors. These organizational members, some of whom have been supporting our work year in and year out, make all of our work possible all year long. Also want to do a special shout out to all of our Limelight sponsors supporting tonight's event, making it possible for us to be here and to be able to enjoy some food as soon as the program's over, and drinks. Thank you to our Emerald sponsors, Sloan, City Zenith, and Powering Chicago. Thank you as well to our Jade sponsors, Cyclone Energy, Walker Miller, Link Logistics, Hartshorn Plunkett Architects, DBHMS, and Peoples Gas North Shore Gas Energy Savings Program. Thank you as well to our Crystal sponsors at AT Mechanical, Gilbane, Pepper Construction, and ESD. I also want to do a special recognition to AIA Illinois, our partner of the event tonight. We're now working together to bring greater attention to excellence in high performance buildings by aligning our awards programs. It's great to have AIA Illinois here tonight to support the Emerald Awards as we recognize the individuals and the organizations that are doing a lot for net zero. And in November, Illinois Green will be participating in their awards program focused on high performance building design. Please be sure to introduce yourself to Stacy Finkston. Stacy, feel free to raise your hand. There she is, and ask her about the program in November. Now, as I mentioned, policy is one of the key strategies to laying the foundation for a more sustainably built Illinois. On September 15th, huge step forward when Governor Pritzker signed into law the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act. Illinois Green Alliance participated in the broader coalition that worked for 3 years to develop the policy and build the public support. I'm honored to have one of the key champions who made it happen to share a bit about what this new law means for our work as building professionals and the role of Illinois, helping Illinois to address climate change. Delmar Gillus is the Chief Operating Officer of Elevate, where he's responsible for implementing operations, workforce development, and project management for Elevate's diverse energy efficiency and growing renewable energy programs. I don't know how he was able to do any of that work, his day job, this summer, because I happen to know I was on a lot of conference calls with him day in and day out, including Sunday nights and Saturday during, it was crazy just to get CEJA over the finish line. But because of his commitment, it is what it is today, and it gives us a huge opportunity as we move forward over the next couple of years to implement CEJA. So I'd like to invite Delmar to come up and say a few words, tell us a little bit more.
Good evening, everyone. My favorite part of talking to people about CEJA is when I get to say that the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act is the most equitable clean energy legislation in the nation. And I'd also like to say thank you to all of you, especially those that helped work on the legislation. As Brian mentioned, what I'd like to do is just spend a few minutes to just talk about CEJA, what's in the bill, what some of the benefits are, and really kind of focus on some of the benefits as it relates to building energy efficiency. But as many of you know, my role on the team was to focus on equity. So one of the things that I'm really passionate about is that equity was not just a part of CEJA, but it was the foundational element. We wanted to make sure that when this bill passed, everyone in the state of Illinois would be able to access the benefits of the clean energy economy. And I'm proud to announce that we were able to accomplish that. So I want to say thank you, but also I do really want to just acknowledge everyone, especially the community leaders that fought for the programs that were in this bill. Because without community leadership, the bill would not be what it is today. So once again, thank you everyone for your hard work on this. And with that, I'd like to kind of go through and talk about some of the provisions in the bill that I think will be really exciting to Illinois. The first one that I wanted to talk about is just at a very high level, what does this bill do? And one of the biggest things is that it puts Illinois on a path to 100% clean energy by 2050 and delivers 100% carbon-free power by 2045. It does this by closing coal and fossil gas on timelines that are guaranteed to provide us with climate action, public health protections, and very importantly, it prioritizes environmental justice, especially in communities that have been left behind and underserved. It also works to increase the amount of renewables in the state. By the year 2030, we're going to go from the 9% that we're at now to over 40% new renewables by 2030 and 50% by 2040. So as you can see, these are some pretty aggressive goals that we've all set out to accomplish. It also commits up to $80 million per year over the next decade for vehicle electrification or electrification of the transportation system, and 45% of those benefits go to environmental justice communities and low-income communities. So once again, there's a focus on underserved communities. But let's talk a little bit about how this directly impacts building energy efficiency, because I know that's a topic that's really of interest to all of us. One of the things that we addressed in the bill was making sure that the successful energy efficiency programs that were scheduled to expire are now been continued indefinitely. So initially, the energy efficiency programs that we all know, love, and appreciate were scheduled to end in 2030. That has been extended indefinitely. And those programs are estimated to save billions of dollars on customer utility bills, which is a really big deal. There's also a large customer opt-out that will allow large customers who want to take advantage of the electric energy programs or energy efficiency programs to do that. There's also health and safety funding. So buildings that had deferred maintenance issues or health and safety issues, there's now funding to ensure that the health and safety work can be done so that then the energy efficiency and the renewable work can occur on those buildings. And that's going to be a really big benefit, especially for underserved communities and underserved buildings. There's also going to be a partnership between communities and organized labor on a schools program that's going to provide energy efficiency solutions to our schools. And this deferred maintenance work is going to ensure that all schools across the state will be able to benefit from the renewable energy programs in our schools. It also addresses weatherization. It encourages coordination between the utility efficiency programs and the federal and state weatherization programs. And it's really going to focus on a whole home solution. So it's looking at being inclusive of the entire building or the entire home, which is going to be critical. It's also going to take a look at our building energy codes so that we can further reduce energy use. And there are going to be a couple of provisions that I think will be really helpful in this space. For one, Chicago is going to be able to continue to adopt a building energy code that is more robust than the baseline state energy code. So it encourages that. The Capital Development Board will set up a stretch energy code that is more robust than the baseline state energy code, and any municipality can then adopt that code. So it's basically going to be a framework for those that want to go beyond the baseline. They will have a structure that they can use to do that. The Capital Development Board also has until 2023 to develop that code and make it available for adoption. So they're really going to be working at a brisk pace to get that stretch energy code out there. And then lastly, there are going to be new provisions put in place to ensure that communities can give robust input into utility energy efficiency programs. For those of you who have participated in the income qualified program or were interested in engaging in interventions or proceedings for regulatory action, there are things in the statute that are going to enable that. But lastly, what I wanted to talk about is the equity provisions that are in this bill. And when I think about equity, I think about people and I think about projects. So I'm looking at people like Cheryl Johnson, who's on the far south side of Chicago. She's going to be able to provide seed capital for her projects. So a lot of the pre-development costs that were barriers to her doing projects in the past, she's going to have funding for that. I'm looking at people like Reverend Tony Pierce, he was really interested in having a development project or program for contractors. So the bill provides a program that develops prime contractors and GCs in underserved communities and provides access to projects and programs. And lastly, I want to recognize Chris Williams. He's a third-generation African-American electrician who started a training development company. And he's going to be able to now have an opportunity to train solar electricians, solar technicians, and solar marketers across the state. So this is what I personally fought for. And to Brian's point, while I was happy to work on Sundays and after hours, and when the bill didn't pass at the end of session, we came back week after week. I wanted to do that because the people that I mentioned were the people that encouraged me to go to Springfield, to be a negotiator, and to fight for this bill. So once again, I want to end where I started, which is saying thank you to all of you for your great ideas. And as I said at the bill signing, this is a great accomplishment, but there's still a lot of work to do. And I'm looking forward to partnering with each and every one of you to make that happen. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you, Delmar, for sharing your story, and apologies here, and reminding us why policy is so important in order for us to advance a critical mission. So today, a lot of what you'll hear tonight will be echoed throughout, and that's to anchor all the work that we've done and will continue to do. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kathia Benitez, and I'm the 2021 board chair for Illinois Green Alliance. And I just want to thank everyone for being here in person. This is a great turnout. We were not anticipating the room to be filled in this manner. So it's great to see that we are all willing and ready to network and engage with one another. So thank you all for being here, and also for those that are joining us virtually. I remember 2017, it was a night like tonight at Limelight, where I met many of you that to this day continue to support this organization. And it was at that night, I think it was my birthday, actually, November 2nd, 2017, to be exact. I was there to celebrate Andy Stein, who was at the time getting recognized for being a champion volunteer in our programs committee. And I remember networking and getting to know many of you, and you're the reason why I'm here today serving you all as your board chair. So I just want to thank you for staying committed, for plugging in others that want to know how to give back to their communities, but also adds value to their life. So thank you for that. And there are many of you, so I'm not going to start naming you, but just want you to know that I'm thankful for you all making that connection and opening those doors. So obviously, these last 2 years have been very challenging on many fronts, and I'm just super proud for Illinois Green Alliance and all the work that has been done in the past year as their board chair. The organization not only has learned to keep their lights and their doors open, but learned to adjust and pivot in order to serve its communities, to learn to work with its partners, and reimagine the way that our programs need to be available for our members, our communities that are plugged in very trying and challenging times. Not only did the organization learn to pivot and adjust over the last year, but we've also taken the time to double down our impact by implementing a new strategic plan, which you heard a little bit about from Brian. But the plan recognized the need to raise the bar for high performance buildings and inspires, educates, and reduces barriers to net zero. Last year, developing the new strategic plan wasn't easy during a pandemic, and nor has it been easy leading an organization from the comfort of my couch. We have spent many hours, half days on Zoom calls, evaluating our own progress, planning, strategizing for our future course. This wasn't an effort that does not go unrecognized, and I'd like to take a moment to pause and just commend and applaud the organization's leadership, the board of directors, for their commitment to this process. It has made a massive difference, so kudos. During those retreats, we quickly realized that we needed a North Star to give direction to our work. And just like LEAD provided focus for our work for those 20 years, Net Zero is now defining the long-term vision that inspires, guides, and propels what we are doing today. That vision is making sure every building is net zero by 2050. And yes, this is a very ambitious, and we thought long and hard, and we were able to identify very clear objectives. We identified stakeholders that would get us on the right path. The 5-year plan considers industry education, community engagement, pilot projects, and policy development. As you heard Delmar share a little bit, it was, for us, this is a huge endeavor. I mean, this is a great time to be in this industry, in this movement, and I hope you all can pat yourself in the back. These efforts are much needed to spark a revolution and change how we build, renovate, and operate buildings. The key to our success is recognizing that net zero buildings shouldn't be just for those who can afford it. That's why one of the 3 core elements of our strategic plan is to demonstrate that technologies and best practices associated with net zero are possible everywhere, regardless of building type, and particularly in historically underinvested communities. Through collaboration and the help of our members, we want to pilot programs over the next 5 years that showcase what is feasible. I am personally excited for this strategic plan because I joined the organization in 2017. And I know this organization has been on its journey for a very long time, but this strategic plan cements the justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion journey that they've been on, that we've all been on. So the plan is bridging gaps with communities and stakeholders that can help advance our mission and ensures all have access to net zero strategies, regardless of zip code, which has always been a challenge to bridge. One of the ways we've begun to do this is through the launch of the Neighborhood Power Project, a collaborative effort we've developed with Elevate and the Environmental Defense Fund. So far, 8 buildings owned by local nonprofit organizations have enrolled in the program to receive facility assessments, grants to support sustainability improvements, and guidance along the way, all at no cost, because we know we cannot leave existing buildings behind. One of these nonprofit anchors is Family Matters, a community services organization partnering with youth and families in Rogers Park. Their 100-year-old building was in need of efficiency upgrades. Their enrollment in the Neighborhood Power Project supported energy efficiency upgrades. Our team of specialists provided recommendations for ongoing actions that improve the health of the building and lower utility costs so that Family Matters can spend more money on making a difference in their community. Net zero buildings aren't just about cool technology, cutting-edge practices, and sleek modern designs. It's about the people and what we can do to improve and sustain the places they live, work, and play in. The role of Illinois Green Alliance is to convene building professionals and leverage their expertise and passion for making a difference with others that can make a difference. Whether that's a policymaker, a community leader, advocate, and teachers, we need to reach more people to make a greater impact. So in closing, I hope you all can join us in this vision, which is why we're here tonight, to celebrate the great work ahead. I know we've read the reports. We know we need to act now if we want to preserve our environment, and most importantly, if we want to preserve underserved communities that are gravely impacted by climate change. This is why this work and your participation is so important. I cannot wait to see a future where we're creating as we work together towards achieving this vision. And for that, I thank you. And now I'd like to turn it over to Liz. Is it Prachi? Okay, apologies. I'd like to turn it over to Prachi Sharma. She is one of our longtime volunteers that will be recognizing some of our members that are making a difference in what we do. Thank you.
Hello, and thank you, Kathia, for the wonderful introduction. I'm Prachi Sharma. I'm a project manager at Slipstream. And one of my first ingress in Illinois, or rather US, was that I started as an intern at Illinois Green Alliance. When I started at Slipstream, I knew I didn't want to leave Illinois Green behind. I continued my volunteering efforts with the Auxiliary Board and joined the Sustainable Facilities Mentorship Program, which allowed me to give back to my community and share my expertise. I grew up in a stereotypical Indian household. My father, who's an engineer and worked in the Indian Navy as a naval architect, pushed my interests beyond the conventional mold. Early outdoor excursions with him were always a lesson in history and environment, which in hindsight laid the foundation for my future. After my undergrad studies in architecture, I chose to work in conservation, which was immensely rewarding. Leading a team of architects and conservationists, we restored numerous monuments, laying ruins in modern-day Delhi right now. My passion for sustainability further stems from scarcity and water and power resources in my home country. When I moved here to the US, I knew I had to gain more knowledge, which led me to pursue my master's degree in sustainable management. I was fortunate enough to get an internship at Illinois Green Alliance, an organization that is completely in sync with my vision and passion for sustainability. Together we are and we will continue making a difference. I'm just one of the few volunteers at Illinois Green who have given countless hours to these programs this year. These dedicated professionals give time outside of work to support critical energy efficiency, schools, and building education work in Illinois. If you have donated your time as a volunteer through a program at Illinois Green in the past year, please stand. Guys, please stand. I want to take a short moment to recognize the 2020 volunteers who were honored at the annual meeting in January. Tom Dietz for donating his time on the programs committee and creating educational webinars for the community. Hardik Miani for his work on Auxiliary Board as a sustainable facilities mentor, where he supports local community organizations in pursuing sustainable operations. Cara Kennedy Stone for supporting the Auxiliary Board Party, which raised a record number of funds to support our mission. And Amy Dupuy for spreading awareness about carbon reduction solutions as a climate action ambassador. For me, volunteering at Illinois Green Alliance is meaningful because the goals align personally and has helped me contribute to a cause that I care about. And it has added to the perks of connecting with the community at large and influencing minds and hearts to our common cause of a sustainable and energy efficient future. To get involved, we are currently recruiting for members of the Board of Directors, Programs Committee, and Auxiliary Board. The raffle booth has more information as well on the Illinois Green Alliance's website. One of the benefits of volunteering with Illinois Green is also collaborating with wonderful staff like Programs Manager Liz Wimmer. So I'll let her take on the dice right now. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Prachi. It's wonderful working with you and all of our volunteers. And I'm really looking forward to sharing more about the Illinois Green Schools Project, the program I manage, which we launched during the 2020-2021 school year. This new program aims to empower educators, students, and school staff to implement no and low-cost sustainable practices at their school with support from green building and sustainability mentors. Schools also receive resources like professional development and curriculum tools, project ideas, and mini grants to support their project implementation. This past spring, we kicked off a shortened version of the Illinois Green Schools Project, where about 10 schools worked virtually with our mentors who provided guidance and expertise to identify, investigate, and implement their project. I was truly blown away by the projects and what everyone was able to accomplish in such a short time and given all the challenges of the last year. They were able to get creative, hands-on when they could, and I think had a lot of fun too. Projects range from student-led composting projects to planning for outdoor classrooms and learning spaces, to receive or submitting and receiving grants for educational solar panels. This evening, I'm thrilled to introduce you to one of our school mentor pairs, Brian Meade, who is a design principal and 2030 task force chair at FGM Architects, and TJ Pavlov, early college STEAM program manager at Uplift Community High School, to share more about their experience participating in the Illinois Green Schools project.
Awesome. Thank you for that introduction, Liz. We really appreciate it. I'm TJ Pavlo. I am the early college STEAM program manager at Uplift High School, as Liz mentioned. And I was unfamiliar with what the Illinois Green Schools project was. A teacher had approached me and said, hey, this is a really cool opportunity. She was an environmental science teacher, and she said, let's do this. Let's sign up. Let's find out what it's all about. So I said, great. It was an interesting school year. I don't know if anybody, for those of you that work with schools, in schools, have children in school, last school year was unlike any other. So we were super excited about the project, connected with Liz, went to the information session, found out that it was all virtual. And we're like, oh man, how are we going to do this to make it as engaging for students as possible? Students in our particular, in our neighborhood, you know, they come from all over the city. They just were really struggling with virtual learning. So we decided, how can we make a project that is impactful, but also have a hands-on component? So I worked with that teacher, and we developed a project that was going to give them the ability to actually design and build something tangible. We're like, can we like send some tools and some resources to their homes, and they can put them together? But essentially what we came up with was the students to design their own herb gardens to have in their homes or their living spaces. So they did some research on different herbs, decided what it was that they wanted to have in their individual planters. And then we went through the project cycle to design and build those particular herb planters for their spaces. So they investigated at their home spaces, did some measurements, looked at light, all these different things. And we were fortunate enough to have our friends here at FGMA Architects join us for multiple sessions. And then I'll let Brian talk about what it was like from his perspective to join our students in this project.
Great. Thank you, TJ. So from our perspective, rewind back to about October or November of last year, and we started to see the announcements on the website about this program. FGM Architects, we have offices here in Illinois and St. Louis, and our St. Louis colleagues were really involved in the Gateway chapter of the U.S. Green Building Council. And the Missouri chapter had been doing this program for quite a few years. So like, oh my gosh, you guys should get involved. And by that time, the pandemic, we were all looking forward to anything that we could do to volunteer, whether it was in person, virtual. So with our, as 2030 signatories, like probably many of you are, you know, we were looking for opportunities for outreach, for volunteering, and thought, wow, this would be a great opportunity to do that. We didn't know what it would mean yet because it was virtual, but we totally signed up. And getting to know Liz, we said, you know, this is a great thing to do. So when we signed up, we do have a school group. We do schools. We do, you know, all age levels. So we were very flexible. We said, we don't care what age group, whether it's, you know, elementary, middle school, high school. So we got paired up with Uplift High School and TJ and Karen, and we're very excited. And so when they introduced, they were so organized in your class, and they already had this great idea, what he described. And so in the course of 3 to 4 months, we met maybe once a month or so, and it was mostly virtual, but it was so rewarding, so fluid. We talked about, I remember even the first session, you know, we thought we were going to be very formal, going through a presentation of like biophilic design and how to bring nature inside and all of this. And their class, you know, the students were just so interested. There were 3 of us volunteers from FGM, and they just wanted to know more about us and more about, you know, as a young student in high school, as a woman, as a minority, how do you get involved in the architecture and engineering profession? And so just to realize that kind of mentoring, we immediately said, well, we have to break out into Zoom breakout rooms, you know, and those that really want to hear more about that kind of, you know, those goals. So it was very fluid. We talked about everything about the future. We talked about, you know, the types of design, sustainable design, and we did that. And then probably the highlight at the end, which was almost probably 1 year into lockdown, I think it was March or April, is finally we got to go in person. So we got to go into the school. I think it was the first day, right, that all your students?
I think it was missed Okay. So it was just when the guidance had changed with Chicago Public Schools to allow some in-person activities with volunteers and things. So we were super excited. Everybody was very on edge about having visitors in the building, but we knew this was a super, super important component of this project because the students were able to get together. They were able to see their peers. They were able to see their teachers. And in the school, everybody was so excited for the day that the architects were coming in to help build this project because they got to see students again. So it was really great to see that energy. We had teachers and staff coming out, and you can see some photos there of just what the experience looked like. Students building, they learned how to use a saw. There were some other things that we just kind of said, hey, we got to figure this out. We got to make it happen. But everybody was there, and they were there for the purpose of reconnecting and doing something that was important for the environment and for their own living spaces to add some green life to the spaces that they spend so much time in.
And that 4 to 5 hours, just the impact of getting to know these few students, of showing them, how to use a hammer, how to use maybe a saw. We brought in, X-Acto blades, foam core. I felt like we were back first year of architecture school, showing them, how to not cut your finger. So it was very rewarding on so many levels. And I think we all left. I think the three of us from FGM Architects left more fulfilled and happy than probably the students. So it was a great experience.
We had a really great time, and it was such a fulfilling experience for us as a school, and working with the Illinois Green Schools Project in terms of just the resources and the support and the network. It was just a very, very positive experience. So much so that it had influenced something for us to do over the summer. So we kind of took this project, scaled it out, and we built larger garden plots on our school property we actually built there's 7 of them currently. So we want to go ahead and have already signed up for this coming school year, or this current school year. Super excited for some really fun projects. We're going to be partnered again with our friends at FGM, and we are super excited and very grateful for the opportunity that Illinois Green Schools and Illinois Green Alliance have provided for us. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I just want to let you know how excited I was when we got our first school registration for this year, and that it came from Uplift. So I am very excited to be working with both of you again this year. And in fact, we just kicked off our 2021-2022 school year. This week, we have 38 schools and nearly 50 mentors. This year, schools are encouraged to complete projects tied to our theme, which is energy and justice at school. And we're really excited to be engaging even more schools and communities, helping them begin down the path to zero through local climate action projects. And now, to tell you more about how you can support this work moving forward, I'd like to invite board member Sarah Wood to come up to the stage.
Thank you, Liz. Hello, everyone. Oh my gosh, there's so many people. I am thrilled to be with all of you today, and with so many of my green building friends. The work that Brian and TJ and Liz just talked about is so inspiring and so impactful and so exciting. The fact that they've over doubled the amount of schools that are participating this year is just wonderful. So we have a goal of raising $20,000 by the end of the year to support this work. And to hit that goal, we would like to raise $8,000 in raffle tickets tonight. If you haven't seen, there's a really sweet electric bike out there. I did originally intend to cruise that bike up on stage, but we didn't have a ramp, and I was wearing heels. So we didn't do that, but it's out there. Check it out. And we have already raised several $1,000s. Thank you to our benefactors, which you see on the screen. These folks have given $100 or more so far to support the Illinois Green Schools project. I'm going to, yeah. I'm gonna call out, I don't see him here, but Daniel Wood. He is on that benefactor list, and he is a longtime supporter, longtime friend. I see him at every Limelight. We are not related, but you know, he not only supports Illinois Green, the green building movement in Illinois, but I see him donating at every Limelight. And then at the end of the night, when the winners are announced, I see Wood and I'm like, it's me. No, it's always Daniel who wins. So challenge accepted by me, by Daniel. We gotta up the ante here. So if everyone in this room and on screen who hasn't donated yet, if you would give $40 today, we would meet our goal. And that would allow for TJ, for Brian, for Liz, and all of those schools to be able to do this super impactful, inspiring, awesome work with these students. So to do so online, for those who are virtual, there should be a link for you to just click on and donate. So it's super easy. For those who are in the room, also super easy. When you walk out to go get another drink and go get food and more networking, there's a table to get more raffle tickets. So challenge accepted. Please donate. And now I would like to introduce Lois Vitt Sale, Senior VP and Chief Sustainability Officer at White & Co. Lois has also been a very long time supporter and champion of the Green Building Movement and Illinois Green Alliance. She worked on the very first LEED project in Illinois. And she was a founding board member for Illinois Green Alliance. She's also currently working on several net zero projects, so she's awesome. Please welcome Lois Vitt Sale.
Hello, everybody. Very nice to be here with you and very nice to be able to support the Illinois Green Alliance. I, as a former Illinois Green Alliance board member, back when it was the Chicago chapter of the U.S. Green Building Council, I'm really delighted to see the vitality in the organization, the continued dedication of so many people, and how aggressive our goals are for net zero energy. As Sarah said correctly, I've been working in the green building space since the late 1990s. There are probably people here who weren't born back then. And you can tell I don't look like my picture anymore. Thanks to COVID, I've set me free. But at White & Company, we've been engaged in the practice of delivering green buildings and LEED buildings, and now passive house buildings and net zero energy certified buildings. And I have to tell you that I remember the days when we did the Tyner Center at Air Station Prairie in Glenview. About 2006 it was done. We started on it in 2003. And we designed that to be net zero energy. And then they moved twice as many people in the building. And it met about 50% of its occupancy with the solar that was overhead. It was a huge 17 kilowatt array. Back in those days, solar energy cost $8 to $10 per watt installed. And I didn't think net zero energy was achievable in our area. I thought to be net zero energy, you had to have a building in Hawaii where windows were optional. And I'm so thrilled to know that net zero energy is possible here today in Illinois. And we're working on our 6th or 7th net zero energy project. And I get to be up here tonight to announce an award winner. The Illinois Clean Energy Community Foundation which I feel like is kind of like a friend of mine. Illinois Clean Energy Community Foundation was formed in 1999 with the mission of providing grant funding for energy efficiency, for open lands and open land conservation, and for renewable energy. And for years, most of our White's early aggressive LEED Platinum buildings were the recipients of grant funding from the foundation. Recently, we have been able to apply for and receive 3 net zero energy grants. I don't think there's any other grant program in the country that gives people projects up to $2 million for net zero energy buildings. And I have to tell you, one thing about being in sustainability all these years is that we continue to have to justify investments in high performing buildings. And net zero energy buildings, we are actually learning how to do them, how to deliver them. And it's because of the Illinois Clean Energy Community Foundation that we have been able to say to our clients, let's go on this journey together. Let's decide and figure out what net zero energy is. And there's money available to help defray all of the premium costs for this journey. And our clients are like, okay. So I really think that the Illinois Clean Energy Community Foundation deserves amazing recognition and thanks for making it possible to let this whole building industry in our area with heating and cooling loads learn what it takes to be net zero energy. You know, there are clients who really don't have the funds to be net zero energy. And so right now the premium, because we're all learning in this space, is really been defrayed by the grant from the Illinois Clean Energy Community Foundation. So without further ado, I'd like to invite Gabriela Martin, who I talk to very regularly on the Net Zero Energy program, and she administers that program for the foundation, to come up and receive an award. Gabriela.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Congratulations. And thank you to the foundation.
Oh, thank you. Well, I wanted to take this opportunity to say a few words, if that's okay. So first of all, I'm really glad to be here tonight. So saying I'm honored to accept this on behalf of the the Illinois Clean Energy Community Foundation. And we're thrilled that the Illinois Green Alliance is recognizing our efforts to promote net zero energy buildings and show that indeed they're feasible, they can work here in Illinois. Now, as Lois said, the Illinois Clean Energy Community Foundation has been making green building grants for some time. We made our first green building grants about 20 years ago when LEED was a new thing. And at that point, if you came in and you applied for a grant, we would help fund, LEED projects at just about any level. But over the years, we raised the bar until finally, really, our highest incentives and our largest grants went to platinum projects. And then about 10 years ago, we decided we would start collecting performance data on our building grants. And that's when things started getting really interesting, especially for me, because I love looking at building performance data. I really do. And so our grant applications, they'd come in with all of their forms and their energy models. And on paper, these models looked good. But then kind of in time, we learned that oftentimes actual building performance was a very different story. And also, it kind of seemed like a lot of these sustainability elements were more like add-ons rather than really being part of the design. So we were thinking, okay, well, what to do, what can we do here to change things, to influence things? And we decided we'd raise the bar again. And in 2016, that's when we launched our Net Zero Energy Building Program. Now, we launched that program because we wanted to show that building net zero is indeed feasible here in Illinois. We also wanted to have examples out there so that people could experience that and hopefully also copy that, replicate it. What we wanted to do is we wanted to push design so that from the beginning, you know, passive features, high levels of energy efficiency, and renewables would all be integrated. And then, of course, we wanted some accountability for performance. So net zero energy, you know, it's a beautiful concept. It's got so much appeal, and it's pretty easy to understand. And it sets this bottom line that you can kind of, hold people accountable for. But I have to say, just, over the last 5 years experiencing this, there are a lot of people who feel very uncomfortable in the building industry when they begin to be held accountable. But I really want to ask you, guys, why shouldn't we hold ourselves accountable for the performance of the buildings that we design, we build, and we operate? I mean, look at their contribution to the greenhouse gas emissions. So we all know here that, when we want to implement change, usually we have to take some kind of risk. So I really hope that all of us here, and those of you who are joining remotely, will dare to take risks and to transform the way we build. And I also hope that we won't be afraid to hold ourselves accountable in our work as we try to make net zero a reality. So I really want to say to all of you here and those who are joining, thank you so much for your work and everything that you do to move us forward. I feel like I have the easy job. I just get to dangle the carrots, But really also what I want to say is, let's not stop at net zero. Let's already think net positive. So thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Lois, and huge congratulations, Gabriela. Your leadership at Illinois Clean Energy Community Foundation is amazing and truly helped influence what I'm going to be talking a lot about in just a few minutes. And it's so nice to see you in person and your real face, not in Zoom. My name is Kaluzny, and I have the privilege of serving as the Associate Director at Illinois Green Alliance. I get to work with so many of you developing our programs, education, outreach, and it's wonderful to have you all here in the room tonight, but also hello to all my Zoom friends that I know are there watching and still paying attention because you're not doing something else at your house. But we miss you and hope that you can join us in the future. Before we introduce our final award winner tonight, I wanted to share some programming notes with you. First, unfortunately, we were not able to recognize our 2020 Emerald Award winners last year in person. So I'd like to take a moment to share with you these sustainability achievements. We're featuring these award winners in a series of educational videos on our website. In fact, there's one there now, but let me tell you a little bit about our 2020 winners, and we can give them all a round of applause shortly. First, one of our 2020 winners was Samantha Bingham, the City of Chicago's Clean Transportation Program Director, and she received the 2020 Emerald Award for individual leadership for impact in advancing cleaner fuels and new technologies across the region through the Chicago Area Clean Cities Coalition. Second, we recognize Howard Lerner and the Environmental Law and Policy Center. They received the 2020 Emerald Award for Organizational Leadership, recognizing the organization's decades-long achievement in advancing meaningful sustainability policy in Illinois and across the Midwest. Third, the Chicago Housing Authority's Altgeld Family Resource Center was recognized with the 2020 Emerald Award for Community Impact. The building received a LEED Gold rating and provides space for childcare center, community center, and a full-service Chicago Public Library. And I know Dan Rappel from COO is here, who helped design that building. Wave your hand and be proud, Dan. Pepper Construction's Net Zero Trailer received the 2020 Emerald Award for Green Innovation. With a zero carbon footprint, the trailer is clad in cement fiber panels, which reduce heat absorption, and atop the structure, there are 27 PV panels producing all the electricity needed for the power to power the trailer for a full workday with just 4 hours of sunlight. And I think Toju and Natalia from Pepper might be here tonight. If they are, they should wave also. There they are in the corner. You should go talk to Toju about that later. You can learn more about Pepper Construction's net zero construction trailer through that video on our website, and their unique net zero approach to a unique building type. And definitely go and talk to them about it. If you were at Greenbuild 2018, was also on the floor that you get to go and tour it as well. I also wanted to share that with you that to better align our awards with our strategic plan, we're recognizing achievements in high performance design in a new exciting way this year through the launch of the Illinois Net Zero Honor Roll and Net Zero Watch List. The Illinois Green Alliance Net Zero Honor Roll recognizes any building in Illinois that is achieving net zero verification. Buildings are only eligible if they receive one of the following third-party certification or verifications: LEED Zero Carbon, Energy, or Water, True Zero Waste, FIAS Zero, and ILFI Zero Carbon or Zero Energy, and more as more rating systems are created. We will certainly recognize them in the future. I'm thrilled to share with you that there are 2 projects to make this year's inaugural launch of the Net Zero Honor Roll. The first building to make the Net Zero Honor Roll for verified zero energy is Adlai E. Stevenson High School's Science Edition. It's a project of Adlai Stevenson High School District 125. And the second project to make the honor roll is the Method Factory in Pullman, which has received true Platinum Zero Waste certification. Let's give all involved in making these projects a reality a round of applause for these amazing achievements. And while this is the inaugural list, I'm looking forward to watching this list grow every year, and eventually it's so long that I don't have time to name them all. The Illinois Net Zero Watch List, which is our next list, recognizes projects pursuing one of these certifications that we hope will join the honor roll soon. Currently, there are 10 projects on the watch list pursuing LEED Zero Energy, FIAS Zero, or ILFI Zero Energy or Carbon. There are also 3 wastewater treatment plants committed to net zero energy over a 10-year trajectory. Most of these projects are funded by the Illinois Clean Energy Community Foundation. Thank you, Gabriela. And many of them are designed by our 2 award winners tonight and our presenters. So congratulations to all of these amazing projects for their leadership in this space. And again, to the Community Foundation for supporting nearly all of these projects in their journey. And finally, we'd like to recognize all of the amazing home projects we've featured on the Greenbuilt Home Tour throughout the last several years that have pursued and committed to the DOE Zero Energy Ready Homes program. This is truly an impressive list, and I'm positive I don't have all of them listed here. In fact, I got some more just this afternoon that I wasn't able to add to the slide. Spoiler, many of the projects listed here and on some previous slides are the handiwork of our next award winner. And we are certainly still building these lists out. And I hope that they can provide some inspiration for future project teams. If your project is pursuing any of these certifications and would like to join the Net Zero Watch List, certainly let me know. I have a really cool form you can fill out where you can tell me all about it and send me a picture, and we'll get it all up on our website. Also, as part of our work, we're developing programs and case studies about these projects as a way to bring greater awareness to the trends in net zero buildings. In fact, there's a webinar coming up on Monday that's organized by our programs committee member Jason Myring that will focus on 2 of the projects featured into the watch list today, and our award winner, Gabriela Martin, who's moderating the program. Join us for Financing Your Public Sector Net Zero Project on October 11th at noon, which is free. Hope you don't mind that I put in a plug for our next program. And now, without further ado, I'd like to invite Keara Fanning, Senior Director for Environmental Sustainability at Link Logistics Real Estate. But more importantly, she is the Illinois Greens incoming 2022 Board Chair. Keara.
Thanks, Katie. And hi, everybody. It's so nice to be with you tonight. Before I introduce our next and final Emerald Award winner, and you all get to go to the bar, I would like to make one more plug for you all to support our raffle, which you've all heard about the wonderful work of the Illinois Green Schools Project. And this work wouldn't be possible without your support. And as a parent myself, I know the importance of the Illinois Green Schools Project and setting up the next generation of climate leaders. As we look towards next year, I know I speak on behalf of the entire board when I say how excited we are for what is ahead as we build the foundation for a net zero Illinois, which includes this important program and inspiring these young leaders. Okay, with that, I am really excited and honored to introduce our final Emerald Award winner for tonight, and somebody who has made a lifetime commitment to net zero, Tom Bassett-Dilley.
I'm supposed to wait a minute.
Yeah, it's okay. It's totally fine. I was pausing because I'm shorter and the microphone was above my head, but you're good. Tom, as an architect, he has made meaningful contributions professionally and personally to advance high-performance building design and best practices. His decades-long passion for making a positive impact on the environment is reflected in his work as an architect specializing in passive house technology and zero energy buildings. His firm has worked on more than a dozen projects that have been designed to net zero standards. His commitment to address climate change through building design extends beyond his professional work, volunteering to share his experience on committees and in educational events, serving as a founding member and past president of the FIAS, sorry, I don't know if I said that right, Alliance Chicago chapter, and most recently developing a new online tool for homeowners to consider decarbonization actions they can take in their own home. Thank you, Tom, and congratulations.
All right, well, thank you so much. What an honor. I got to tell you a funny story though. Two actually, and they'll be pretty quick because I know you're all ready to get up and stretch. So I'm decarbonizing my house right now. We got the gas pulled out in July. I got a nice new water, air source heat pump water heater sitting in the basement. And finally we got to the point where we're ready to deal with the soffits and fascias 2 days ago, and then it rains, right? And so I'm worried about, is the basement going to flood and all that stuff. Get home from picking up my son for fall break from college, and in the rental car. and the plumber's just been in to finally install the second toilet. There's a logarithmic relationship between the number of people in the house and the amount of time on the toilet. So I said, we better get this thing in before he gets home. So we get it in yesterday, but then the shower is clogged, so what's going on? We can't shower. So, I've been wearing these pants for 2 days. And like, all right, we just got to get in the car and go. So we get in the car and we go in this rental car heading down towards the Sears Tower, and we get rear-ended on the 290. I'm like, Jesus, my wife and I, we're doing that thing where you're like laughing and crying and at the same time, and thinking about that song that Chet Baker and Ella Fitzgerald made famous, Everything Happens to Me. And I'm like, you know what? This is the perfect metaphor for being an architect working on zero energy. You're getting rear-ended on the way to the party, and when you get there, the guy says you can't drink the 12-year-old Macallan Scotch until after the speech. So here we are. But it's great. 15 years ago, I started my firm, and it was to pursue what I was thinking about at the time as green, which we now call sustainability. And shortly into that journey, which at the time, it was pretty lonely at the beginning, I felt like I went out on my own because I wasn't really finding that firm that I felt like would give me the chance to really do it. But shortly after that, I found the Passive House Institute, and I went down and I got training. And it was the greatest thing because suddenly, as an architect, I had a real tool that could make me understand the energy implications of my design decisions. So what's been happening over the past 15 years, and Brian, we got to have a drink and talk about this, and Lois and Doug Farr and Kipnis and everybody who's doing this stuff, is that we're thinking about how our buildings are changing because we're more conscious of how they're relating to their environments. And it's a beautiful thing because it isn't just energy, it's also daylight. It's also your connection to nature. It's everything coming together. And, you know, Frank Lloyd Wright, one of my idols, he said, cleave to nature, it will never fail you. So, you know, can we make our buildings and our cities more like nature? That's what we're all doing here. So anyway, shortly after that, I got to design First Passive House, and then it got featured on the Illinois Green Alliance Green Built Home Tour, which is a new thing. And all of a sudden I'm realizing I'm not alone in this at all. You know, there's this wonderful Theist community, there's this wonderful Illinois Green community, which I think was still USGBC Illinois back then, but I don't know when that changed. And so when Brian called me a couple of weeks ago to say that they were going to present me with this honor, I realized, you know, this is the thing. You maybe go into things with your individual kind of mission and your drive, your thing that you want to do, but man, we have so much to do that we can do so much more as a community. And this community is so wonderful. I'm so honored. I've been studying this business of retrofits, you know, because as an architect, you initially think about just designing these great new buildings. And I've gotten to do some recently. We did the Carroll Center, which is a Clean Energy Community Foundation supported project. Tonight, I'm actually supposed to be at a zoning hearing, planning hearing for the Oak Park 45 unit mixed market rate and affordable housing net zero project, which also is a grant recipient. Which we are really nervous about, Gabriela, to, you know, make that thing zero, because are we going to have 45 units of people with, you know, 4 TVs? So anyway, we're going to figure out a way to incentivize renters, you know, to be the lowest consumers. You know, there's something in there. We got to do something. So, but anyway, where the hell was I going with this? It's getting late, right? No, I just wanted to say that, oh no, really, I did lose my train of thought, didn't I? So, the rear ending, it took us out, you know. Yeah, you're not alone. You can always come back to that theme, right. So anyway, thank you to the Illinois Green Alliance for this. I really appreciate it. And I just want to say that the more we can all kind of bring what we have, whether it's policy, I mean, the work that you guys did for CEJA, just so great. I mean, that is so huge. Just what Illinois Clean is doing, what people in design are doing, what engineers, I mean, this is it. I want to contribute everything I know. And if you guys can be the nexus, the synapse, whatever the right analogy is, I'm all in. So thank you for this, and let's keep doing it. We don't have a lot of years to get ahead of this, so let's go. Thanks.
All right. You all are about 60 seconds away from the bar and some really, really good food. I have one more final announcement to share with you, an exclusive sneak peek at our new logo that we're going to be launching in 2022 with a brand new website. This logo was designed by volunteer Brad Taylor. He is the creative director at 1035. I think architects and designers will appreciate this. The white lines create an organic grid through the state representing the widespread network of green building experts and community leaders involved with Illinois Green, and the multiple shades of green represent the full spectrum of sustainable building actions, practices, and education. You can actually pick up a sticker of this new logo. It's at the raffle table. So it's another reason for you to head on over there and buy your first raffle ticket or more raffle tickets to support the Illinois Green Schools Project. I feel really inspired. Thank you all for being here. So thrilled so many people were able to join us. Hello to everybody at home, and let's head to the bar. Thank you.